Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are at. Just good times right now. And we appreciate the opportunity to be with a good brother. This good brother, he is one of the people that are trying to do some things in this place that they call Worcester, Massachusetts. He's actually trying to put examples and staples up so that way me, you, all of us can be a part of what we're doing today. And we appreciate him taking the time to be a part of what we're doing today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you Geoffrey Killebrew.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. I thank you all for tuning in, for supporting my man said.
Yeah.
And even for those who will be watching this, as he said, whatever time of day, place you are, thank you for so much for paying attention, and hopefully we can take some action together.
That's what's up. And I like the verbs. Action words is what we're about here, and we want to promote people that are doing some things and that those actions are something that they can talk about. And we want you to be a part of this conversation. So let's talk about Jeff. Tell us a little bit about Jeff, man, and condolences, brother.
Yeah.
As you know what I mean, I just left my pops, 94 years old. So
94.
Yeah. So
wow.
I try to make it a point in time to come through, see him, check him or whatever. So my condolences on what's going on in your world, man, man.
At this point, it's just by doing my best to honor him and honor my dad, through the things, the work that I'm doing, not just that, but first of all, it starts with family and everything like that too. Yeah. It starts with family, so it's like, it's been crossing my mind, about dedicating this work to him or to my mother or anybody else in the family, but at the end of the day, it's about just the family in general. Not necessarily to take advantage of a situation to it's not I'm not about a gimmick. I'm not about marketing and all that other stuff necessarily.
Right.
Using my but I am here for the work. And people that want to work with me, I'm here to do the work,
Yeah, I met some brothers, a brother earlier today at the J Mac event, and I told him what I was going to do, and I said, "Yo, I'm gonna plug you in, brother. He's a good brother. He might can help you do what you're trying to do because he does this. You do some of the things that these people."
Oh, you saw me?
Yeah, you are some person that do things, man. Yeah. And I think I don't know how you feel you are yourself, how you do, but others view you of how you do because you're doing things. You're submitting forms in public view. You're going to meetings with public officials.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's cats don't even want to get out the car.
Let me tell you. To
go get their food for the drive.
Let me tell you something about my dad for a moment.
Okay, let's talk about your dad.
Listen, because one of the things that he instilled in all of us, and I speak for myself, because I have two brothers and two sisters. Yeah. Is lack of fear, being fearless.
Okay.
That at the end of the day, that's one thing he put out. Whether you like it or not, you about to do it.
Right.
And one of those things that used to be for me is when I go to church. I'm a musician, so for those that don't know,
he's many talents, but one of them is as a musician.
Yes, it was one of the things that's closest to me aside from working with youth. But coming up in church, we go to a visitor church, and he noticed that the drummer wasn't on. He'd be like, "Jeff,
you got to go see that.
Go ask him if he could play." And I'm like, "Dad, I'm not." It got to a point where it wasn't a question.
It was just like, go play.
Go glass. So I gotta walk down. If I brought a pair of sticks, but if I don't have sticks, it's even worse. And my dad come to me and asked if I could play.
Could I get your sticks? So you got to give it up. You're the drummer of the house, so you giving your sticks up to the visitor.
They don't know me from home. But my dad told me I got to come down and play, man. So, you know what I mean?
Did they give them up?
They would give them up.
They know who they are.
But they also recognize, by the grace of God, like the gift that I have, So then I get on a smash, then to turn the whole church around. So with that, what I'm saying is that the reason why that's important is the confidence to be able to go and stand in front of folks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And speak and advocate, in a situation where it may seem like you're unlikely to go up there. Who are you? You're not from here.
Right. And it's usually, that's a Worcester thing too. That used to be, I used to hear that a lot. You're not from here. How are you going to do these things?
Yeah, right.
And I'm glad you got that from your pops and persevered and pushed through all of that, because you're doing things that people in Worcester lived here 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years.
Right.
Ain't doing, man. Yeah. You're changing. You're changing things, man. No. You're not trying. You are doing it because they are having meetings now, including people in them. You know, all that Parks and Recreation stuff. Well, if you don't know the background, the story is Parks and Recreation has an idea of doing these things at Elm Park, and they have vendors there. But they don't have anything on paper saying which vendors could be there or how long they should be there, what's the amount of money they should pay while they're vending. And all of this came to fruition into the head because he wanted to vend there.
Yeah.
He wanted to vend there. He was like, why can't I?
Yes.
And then he pushed through, like, let me find out.
Right.
And you found out that they didn't even have nothing.
Right.
And they was installing people in the into these positions with no, what is that? They didn't need a resume. They get mad at that boy Trump. He put people in places of power that don't have no resume, and they doing the same thing here in Worcester.
It's the good old boys club. If you know, you know. Now what we came to do is shake that up.
That's why I'm here with you. That's why I want to pronounce you to people and let them know the side of things is really, we need to do some changes.
Right.
A man is here changing. He needs your support. He needs your money to continue this. He needs to continue to have you guys invested in your future because he is the worker for you. So you was wondering who you were waiting for? Boom.
Oh man, that's a lot. But what I will say is that, you know, to a couple of points that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
For anyone who has no context of what kind of started this conversation when it comes to being a street vendor or starting a business as a street vendor or a street performer here in the city of Worcester. You know, I came across an opportunity a few years in 2018. Door was open, and I kind of stumbled upon a door, I'll put it like that. And I thought it would be a great opportunity. And then along the way, I can run into some challenges, which kind of like brought out why I feel like, and my experience has been in talking to other folks too, that we don't see more street vendors. We don't see more street performers. You may ask, why is that? What is it? Why should I care about a street vendor? Why should I care about a street performer? You know, what is it? So as an entrepreneur and looking for an opportunity, and especially being a black entrepreneur in the United States, and if you know anything about our history, it's important to kind of, we even started this conversation about history.
Yeah.
Knowing the history, knowing when you are, where you are, why you are, where you are, and how you got there is more important. It's so much important where people, folks, well, it doesn't matter where it came from. Right. We're just here now. Let's focus on the future.
Right.
No, hold up. No, run it back. Right. Run it back. Let's figure this thing out. All right. So when it comes to entrepreneurship in the United States, right, and in America, we go back and look at the Reconstruction era of America, right? We look at the Black Reconstruction era in particular, or just after emancipation. And I know we've been really hyped up over the last few years about celebrating Juneteenth. Yes. There's more. Don't get hung up on Juneteenth.
Don't get hung up on Juneteenth.
That's a whole lot more. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the next periods of time in Black America,
yes, in America, not even Black America, in America,
was during the Reconstruction era, and where people were looking for opportunities to define what it means to be Black in America, and that was during that Renaissance period, right? So we see that we figureheads like you mentioned, Frederick Douglass, Du Bois, Langston Hughes, and then we get into the arts aspect of it, like Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington and these folks, right?
Don't forget some women.
Of course, Madam C.J. Walker.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Audrey Day. Go ahead, Audrey Lorde. Sorry.
You know, what we're looking at is when they say "Make America Great Again," it only begs a question for me: when was it great to be Black in America?
Right.
You know, and as a young, I call myself still a young black man in America. When we look at history, when was it? Well, you have to look back at the timeline when, and if you look back at the pictures, as far as I see it, I look at the black and white photos of pre-segregation, and it looked like these neighborhoods were doing just fine.
They were doing very well.
Man, where did they get jazz from? Why was these men and women throwing each other on the jazz floor, on the dance floor, the Lindy Hop? Man, where did all that come from? Not to the point where two-step. Yo, what happened?
Right.
What happened in between?
It's the joy. It's like
that jubilant, that joy. What happened in between that time and where we are right now? We can only two-step.
Right.
It's
mean face.
You know what I mean? Mean mug the whole time. You be quicker to grill and the next black man before you greet him.
Right. What's up with that?
You know what I mean?
What's up with that?
So let's go back to vending. Let's get back to vending and busking. So as far as an entrepreneur, all right, during that Reconstruction era, we saw black businesses and neighborhoods and communities that were thriving. Okay, then the question is, what happened to these communities, right? Now, nationally, we know that we can use Tulsa as an example. Tulsa was bombed, right? But then et cetera, right? Then we have another type of situation where communities were put underwater.
Yes, that too.
Right?
Dams opened up and flooding the whole
where did that come
area.
From? Now, the next thing that more modern, if you will, is development.
We talking about the highways that developed in suburbs,
and we talk about, and in particular, and let's talk about Worcester. And most recently, I came across Laurel Clayton neighborhood, Plumley Village, Plumley Village. If anybody lives in Plumley Village and you don't know the history of that place, I need you to look it up. We can give you
right through it, right?
We can give you, listen, and we're living, and it's only one generation, maybe two generations. We talking about somebody's grandparents, their aunts and uncles that are now living through this community that was destroyed. 225 homes.
These are families in those homes too. It's not just homes that are just abstract. There were people in them. Generations of people that were part of that neighborhood that was...
In Worcester. Your grandparents.
Yes. Your aunts, your uncles, your cousins. All of the people in that area. The highway, 290.
Boom, right through it. Now, another piece to add to this. Not only was it their homes, but for those who had invested in that property and had their homes paid off, now they came through, they demolished their homes and said, now we're going to put you in a high rise, and especially for the elderly, if they were on a fixed income, now when they had the house that was paid off, now they have to go pay
rent. Right? Now you pay rent.
Sick. So how does that connect to vending?
Okay, go ahead. Go. This is a good one. Go ahead.
All right. So when we talk about building a wealth in this country, building a legacy and that sort of thing, you know, there's a bunch of different ways to do it, and especially now in 2025, you can start a business online. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can do the wisest thing to the most foolish thing, and still probably make
something.
You know what I mean? So, I err on the side of wise. You know what I'm saying? Big picture, long term, because everything else is fleeting. And with that being said, there's certain things that will not change from generation to the next. And one thing I noticed is by looking at the lowest common denominators between what happened during the Italian Renaissance, which lasted for about 300 years, in Florence, Italy, and arguably because then you have some people that are
influences,
Pan-Africanists that say, well, you had started Africa, and but I'm not here to debate about that.
Right.
What I'm saying is that period of time, and look what happened during that period of time, right? Then we fast forward to the Harlem Renaissance. That period lasted for about 30 years. Now we're looking at what's happening here in Worcester, and they said that Worcester is going through a renaissance. Now the difference is, I see that historically a renaissance did not start top down. It's not about development.
Right.
It's not about developing a community and with buildings.
Yes.
With the Renaissance, what we're talking about is developing the people.
The minds of the people.
The minds of the people, the underclass.
Yes.
You're right, through patrons of the arts who recognize their contributions, their gifts, their arts and talents. How does that connect to street vending? Now, here in the city of Worcester, now one thing that will never change from generation to the next is the need to do business hand to hand.
Right.
And how people appreciate coming out and just touching, getting a taste. to try it on. You know, and supporting the local business. You know, so here's an opportunity in Worcester to take advantage of that. And with all the development that's going on, we got tourism that's coming in, we got the high rises that's going up, we have the development that's happening here, and like we mentioned with Laurel Clayton neighborhood, that neighborhood that was completely demolished. Now, if the city's going through a renaissance, how are you really directly putting money back into the people who live here?
Right.
Right, and if they're not going to do if they're not going to give reparations,
they not. They already showed that they are not doing nothing. They took that ARPA money, the American Rescue Plan Act money, and gave it to the most whitest organizations that they could say. And they said the only reason they gave it to them because they had the capacity to build and to do something with the money.
But how can you get the capacity if you never
get the money?
The chance, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. So outside of that, you create your own, you know what I mean? And that's what we're on right now, you know, doing this community building. You know, doing this networking one-to-one from one connection to the next. I appreciate the context you've given me just over last weekend. Yeah. You know, that I'm going to use. And that's what we want to also do is be a conduit, a hub for you as well. Yeah. I'm trying to find out the people who care for real.
Yes. And sometimes they're not in your neighborhood.
And not only are they not in your neighborhood, they may not be in your family, and they may not look like you either.
There you go.
So, you know, with the big picture long term, it's not just about you, and it's not just about me, and it's not just about our community. It's about how we connect to the
masses.
You know what I mean? The bigger picture.
And that's one of the things that I think that you have looked at. You looked at a bigger picture because you could have singly done what you're doing for your own self-benefit. Mm-hmm. You're trying to include a whole, look, you're talking about
the diaspora.
You're talking about all of these people.
We going worldwide, bro. We don't play. Hey, my last name is Killebrew. One thing we don't quit, we don't play. You know, if you're gonna go big, you might as well. If you're gonna do it, don't do it halfway.
That's what's
you know, and I've been on this planet way too long to just be doing stuff for me. It's not about me. As a matter of fact, when I met with the Parks Commission, they said, well, why are you doing all this? You can do it's not about me.
There you go.
I could have got the answers. I could have had the questions answered for myself, but I know that I'm here for a much bigger purpose than just me. You know. So with that being said, how does that impact street vending and performing? All right, now here in the city of Worcester, as we're going through this development and renaissance, we're talking about having increased tourism, and increased more money that's coming through here. The gentrification that's happening is rising the cost of living, so the people who live here can't afford to stay, but they can't afford to move either.
Right.
So what can you do in a situation where, now, the solution that I'm offering is not an end-all for everybody. It's not the end-all be-all because everybody's not a leader. Right. Everybody's not an entrepreneur. Right. But all it can take sometimes is that one person in your family who had the opportunity that somebody believed in and can change
the whole dynamic of how they existed.
You know what I mean? Yes, so that's what I'm looking for. You know, I'm looking for the ambitious. I'm looking for the creative. I'm looking for the you know, people who are intuitive, who think outside the box, and willing to put some action. Because maybe you don't meet all 6 of those things I just said, but maybe you meet one of them. I'm looking for collaborators. If you're about action, I can tell you what to do.
All right.
You know, if you have ideas, I'll connect you with the actors. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. And that's why I think that Jeff is a valuable piece in this community, because it's not just his thoughts for himself. He's thinking for a collective that's globally looked at, but he's locally focused as well. He wants to do something for the people in the city that he, you know, resides or comes to and be a part of, that he wants to initiate something that you can do too. You don't have to be he doesn't have to be the only one. You could be a collaborator, participant, or orchestrator, a piece in this spoke of a wheel of success in your life.
So let's get more tangible, okay? So we've been talking about brass tacks. So I developed a community initiative that it's a cultural and economic development plan based on a grant that I initially applied for from the Greater Worcester Community Foundation.
Big up to Jonathan and all the people over
there.
Right,
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much because they still got me in mind. I got you in mind too, right? So it was called the Creative Intersections Grant. Okay, what they wanted us to do was look at find another organization or business that didn't have anything to do with the arts at all, and then find an item off of the Worcester Cultural Development Plan that was written in 2018, published in 2019, and find an item off of there. It's a 20-page document. I found on page 20, 2.4 point G of that document says that they had 5 points. Amongst them, 2 I picked for my thing, which was for my project, which was they said the city of Worcester said they wanted to simplify the application process to become a street vendor, and they want to encourage busking in high pedestrian areas.
Now, busking is the act of performing in a place, and that's
in a public space.
In a public space.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is what he is taking on.
Well, now, the precedent in here in Worcester has been, you might see a guy standing playing a guitar or something like that. But when we talk about busking and the busking street performing in its entirety, it's inclusive of any sort of entertainment and engagement on the street, from mimes, juggling, stilt walkers, fire, throwing flame, the whole thing. So what we're trying to do is reimagine that in Worcester. Why don't we see that here?
Right.
If we can, we go to Boston, Faneuil Hall, they got them. Providence, they got them. You go to, the list goes on. Why doesn't Worcester have more street performers? And so as far as busking is concerned, busking is arts, and the entrepreneurship, the opportunity there is here in Worcester. Again, you can stand on the street corner and play an instrument and collect donations.
Right.
But what I'm trying to get at is, if you have your hawkers and peddlers license, now you can sell on the street. All right. So now you're taking your gift. Let's say that you have CDs. I know you don't have CDs. Or it's shirts.
Oh, it's
your merch.
paintings. Whatever your thing is.
Whatever your merch is. Your merchandise outside of your initial performance. Now you can collect donations with your performance, but you can also sell merch.
You can sell your CD, your tape, or your whatever. You got a do-rag that says your name on it.
Whatever it is,
that's what it is.
Now you go from being able to from when you were on the street corner collecting donations and hoping somebody would give you something. Mm-hmm. Now you have a business that's legit because you have to register your business name with the city. Yeah. You get your hawkers and peddlers license. Now throughout this project, we'll show you how to start your business as a street performer. Then designate spaces with the city of Worcester for you to do that on the other side of the program. Now you're out there doing your thing. Yeah. And doing the same thing for vending. So street vending, the precedence in Worcester has been for food trucks. Mm-hmm. So when I got an opportunity to be a vendor at Elm Park, I was doing something that the city had never seen before. I started a business with my daughter. Mm-hmm. The idea was around making slime. We call it our product a slime sundae because we put the ingredients in the sundae cup, and the kids can come over and put paint and foam beads and glitter and things like that, as toppings. They make and take activity, and then you pay for it, and then they go on. Then I wanted her to have a play on the idea of an ice cream truck. So, because she was 5 at the time, she was 5 or 6 at the time, and so I bought her a Barbie Escalade, the Power Wheels. One that was pink. Yeah. I been from the South, you know.
You kitted it up?
Yeah, man. I gave it a paint job, Bluetooth MP3 stereo system, put tweeters in the door, subs in the seat, crossover, made it go twice as fast, double the amperage, made the wheels deep dish chrome because you can use actual dog bowls. Mm-hmm. You cut out the center of the wheel and then put a chrome dog bowl in the middle. So she had chrome down. She was whipping around the park, booming her music. At the time it was like we whipping Nene. Oh man, she was doing the Nene around the park. My point is that doing something different that the city had never seen. And I've also been a musician. I had my instruments out there. I had my drum set, keyboard, karaoke stand, or whatever. But the city had never seen that. So, but I can't be the only person who has a creative idea and a genius idea to come out and do something. Right. I'm not that arrogant. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So
arrogant is a better word.
You know what I mean? You know. So how many other people out there that want to do something but just saw the red tape is like, or just saw no tape? Right. I don't even know where to go.
I don't know where to go, and nobody knows where to tell me to go.
So when it comes to a renaissance, what we're trying to do is empower people through entrepreneurship, arts and entrepreneurship. And one of my inspirations from the Harlem Renaissance, not being a black man necessarily, but he was a patron of the arts. And it's important to look at the whole thing. So I came across the story of a man called William Harmon. Mm-hmm. He would have the Harmon Foundation would host events that gave awards of like $200 or so for arts and entrepreneurship. Yeah. So that's where I got my mission statement from for Fam Jam Event Group. which I don't think I really plugged that in the beginning. So that's
okay. So
my name is Jeff, and I have a nonprofit organization that I founded. A vice president is sitting back behind the camera. You can't see her. But so FAM Jimmy Event Group, and our mission as a nonprofit organization is to host events that support artists and entrepreneurs from historically redlined communities, and bring awareness to other organizations that serve youth and families.
Okay.
And that, again, was just based off of my observation of the other nonprofits, the festivals that were going on at the time. Mm-hmm. Let me shoot back. So from the park, came as a vendor, experienced some challenges, realized, hey, more people would want to get down here and be a vendor. They might want to be a performer.
Right.
So I came up with a festival based on the fact that I had my daughter. They were considering her slime making as art. And at the time I was teaching music privately, so I had my students. So I figured, even if it was just my kids out there, we got an art music festival. And it's just that, hey, whoever wants to jump on at that point, I get their run in Elm Park. So if you've been to Elm Park, it's one of the largest, most popular parks in Worcester. Yeah. It's in the heart of Worcester and everything. One of the most iconic in the country, actually. One of the first top 3 city parks that were municipality owned. The other are Boston Common and Bushnell Park in Hartford.
Okay.
So they told me that when I first got the opportunity to be a vendor at the park, I said, hey, I want to have I'm starting with the slime idea, and I want to bring the cars in. They eventually said, they were like, okay, well, you can do the slime right now, but we'll only give you 1 day for the cars, which is why I was like, okay, well, I need to make that 1 day special, and that's where I came up with the festival. So from that point on, and this is back in 2019, so now we're in going to 25, right? Yeah. That was 2019. So from there, I started the nonprofit organization to do these festivals at Elm Park to give more other people an opportunity to do what I was doing down there. Yeah. Then I applied for that grant. Then I became more aware of what's happening on the city level in terms of like funding and processes and the whole cultural development plan and civic engagement, that sort of thing.
But these are things that weren't initiated that you could pick up and find somebody like a script notes or something that.
No, there's nobody to tell me. There's nobody to tell me.
This is all of the stuff that you wind up finding out, developing, and initiating to be a new thing for the city that had this whole thing going on all these years.
Yeah, nobody. For whatever reason, nobody stood up. Nobody took the initiative. I don't know. But when I was sitting at Elm Park and I saw one of my first days down there, I'm like, this is a path that's just waiting to be blazed. And if nobody else is doing it, I guess it's on me to do.
There you go.
So I've been swinging ever since. Because if you're going to do it, I'm never going to do it halfway.
Fence. Because a lot of times people think that they're going to get on base by bunting. You got to swing for the, you know what I mean? You got to go for the whole home run. And if you get on first base, good. But go for the whole hit.
Well, Worcester is step one. We're going globally, honestly. Because when we talk about the history of redlining, this is important too. And it also brings it back to, oh man, this is going to be a good one.
Go ahead.
And for those who will care anything about history at all, let's talk about redlining for a moment. Okay.
Now, redlining is what the city, states, and feds done to discriminate communities where banks would not loan in these areas, and this made these areas depressed because the issue was these lines were set up in these neighborhoods. So this was a place where people wouldn't loan, be high rates of mortgages, insurance would be high. Everything in the community outside of the red line districts were great. Everything in the community of the red line was not great.
Well, they would deem it as the declining, significant decline.
Yes.
And it was practice of either the banks to give predatory loans or not give loans at all.
Yeah.
And then along with the realtors who would say, hey, basically segregating communities, this is where y'all should be, or you don't want to be over there, or this is where you should be in. Yeah, you don't want this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the impacts of redlining that we see today are, for a couple, top 3, education is for one. We see homelessness for one. We have the gentrification that's happening now.
Yes.
I kind of jumped over one, but let me get back to the gentrification. But housing, education, health, It goes on and on because we're talking about
economic legacy that we can't give because the homes are gone, and those were the places that people had equity in when they were redlined out the community, and the high price of these homes were detrimental to the families because they could not save or they could not get a correct appraisal for their homes because they were in decline and decimated areas according to these red lines.
Plumley, we talking about you, okay? Plumley, if you have ever lived in Plumley Village or if you've ever lived in Lower Clayton, I need to talk with you, okay? If you live there, if you live there now, I want to know what your experience has been there, knowing the history of Plumley Village. So you can find me on Facebook at personally Geoff. My last name is Killebrew, Killebrew, or FamJam Event Group at gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook at FamJam Event Group or the FamJam Ambassador page. So just look up FamJam, Worcester, you find.
FamJam is also in the digital space. Talk about your on the floor. You can scan it, and then
That's the.
Oh, I can't reveal that.
Okay. I'm gonna get to that.
All right.
But
he got some things going for the. This is a man.
I feel like I'm getting
things for the city.
I feel like I'm taking too long to get to it. So let me just give you a couple things, a couple of highlights. All right. So after 3 years of advocacy, one thing that's going to be coming up next year that has not been pronounced publicly is when I compared our application process to Boston when it comes to being able to get your vendor license, your hawkers and peddlers license. It was in the writing in Boston that youth as young as 14 can get their license if they have their work permit from the superintendent's office. Mm-hmm. When I look at Worcester, we didn't have that precedent in writing. So, we finally able to get the city manager to make a call down to the police station because that's where you get it. Youth have now been added to that application. So, but nobody knows that yet. Until
now.
Yeah, and what we're trying to do is create a program to launch next year. We've done that already. We created a program to launch, but we probably won't announce it until January, so that people can sign up for it within 6 months or so. We're looking to be able to, we're going to have those jam spots that you were talking about.
Okay, yeah.
So we've done the advocacy work at the city level in order to now have create this opportunity for youth to not just have summer jobs, but start summer businesses. Mm-hmm. All right. On the other side of this, of advocacy is public space activation. Okay.
PSAs.
So we developed these jam spots. Mm-hmm. These jams, FamJam jam spots will be locations designated across city in high foot traffic areas for people to operate their business as a street vendor or a street performer.
Right.
Right. And I'm specifically looking for black folks. I'm trying to put black folks in the way of white folks' money. Let's just, you know what I mean? All right. At the same time, we can't talk about the empowerment of the black community at this point in time in history without looking at the entire diaspora.
Right.
Because if you look at within the communities, within the red lines, it's not just black folks anymore. And that was one of the criticisms of using redlining as a framework for some sort of community project.
Right, because the black folks ain't there no more.
The demographics have changed. Mm-hmm. Now black folks are, but also as other people. Right. You got Brazilian there, you got Polish, you got who's not. Asian is in the hood. Yeah. Everybody's in the hood. Yeah. So with that being said, so now we're looking at the larger conversation about the diaspora. Mm-hmm. Between Europe and Africa, and even Asia is part of the African diaspora.
Right.
So now, if we're going to bring that back to the soil, and we're looking within these red lines, we know we're a lot of us are in there.
Yep.
So if I'm looking to get at us, I have to be inclusive of everybody else too.
Correct.
Because if
you have to be including them in the thought talk, because you thinking this is what's going to happen. Your actuality is you're focusing on black folks to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And that's probably who's going to make it happen. And people notoriously latch on to black folks' style, charisma, whatever, and you follow suit. Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be another thing where they jump on and follow suit.
And what I was going to say to that point is the
activations. The community pieces?
So after we run through the project, through the process of go through the educational process, then designating these spaces, then to be able to go out and do the thing, and that would be the proof of concept for me.
Okay.
You know, like that's the real proving of it is like, and we've done a lot of this work already, but I'll be satisfied and happy when I see them folks making money.
Right.
That's when we've accomplished our goal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that is the end, because the beginning is just getting these spaces activated, and now you are in those spaces doing the work, which is performing. You might have I don't know, ceramics, you might have sculptures, you have opportunity to be activated in these spaces. Now when you come in these spaces, there's your opportunity to engage and to profit from being in these spaces. And these are the idea, I mean, 14 years old, that's huge.
Look at
we were 14 packing bags. You know what I mean? We had opportunity to perform in the street to make the money. I mean, we was back then break dance. Nobody's making no money. Get them kids off the balloon. But
let me give you a couple examples, okay? One is a few years back, I was driving down Highland Street, and I saw this young boy across the street from Boomers.
Yeah.
In the parking lot over there. He was sitting under a tent with a table and a bunch of like toiletries out there. He had like a shampoo. I bought a pair of diapers, some diapers off of him for my daughter. But I said to he's a young boy. I'm like, how did you get out here? Like, because I'm back in my head, I'm trauma. I had to get permits, licenses, insurance, and da 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 da. I'm like, how did you? And he said, well, I'm really out here just running for my mom, but she lets me, but she goes off and does the thing. I'm like, okay, but like, man, how incredible it would be if more young people know that they could be out here doing it. And so now he does have his
permits, license,
and then they were up on Lincoln Street.
See, they done stepped their game up.
They started moving around. I'm like, man, so more youth need. I feel like talk about youth intervention.
Yes,
this is it. Not completely it, but this is a thing.
This is the thing, because this is the prevention that some people are looking for. All of you DYS, DSS, all of y'all putting your money into places and things, put it here. It's a man who got it. He got it going on. He knows he done did all of the advocacy, all of the action plans, all of the city councils. He went to subcommittees. He was sitting on subcommittees, dealing with people on subcommittees to get to a committee to talk to the man who was next to the man.
Oh man!
It was the man next to the man next to the man.
And I got another thing to hit y'all with. Okay. So not only did we ultimately, after years of advocacy, get the permission to lay down these jam spots around town.
And these are digital that you scan a QR code and you find out where these places
He's
are.
really excited about the part, okay?
Because this is that tech STEM thing.
Look.
STEAM, STEM, all of them combined into one guy.
When I look at Frederick Douglass, when I look at our ancestors, right?
Guy. That's my guy.
If our ancestors had the liberty that they were fighting for,
yes.
If they had the technology that we have now, what would they be doing with it? I am not Malcolm. I am not Martin. I'm not any of these cats. But I look at the work, and me being who I am right now. Okay, this is what the pieces I have. How can I put it together? So with that being said, using technology, I noticed that they had these wayfinder markers around City Hall. All right, they call them wayfinder markers. They were vinyl print stickers on the ground. They had a QR code that would give information. You can go and get information. So. I said, I want to do that same thing, but for designated spaces for street vendors and street performers. So we were able to get the mock-up. You saw the mock-up. It was really fun. I don't know if I should show it on the camera, but just look this up, okay? Not only do we have a mock-up of the design, but we have the permission from the Economic Development Department of the city to go around town. So if you have a place in your neighborhood where you would like to see a street vendor or street performer, let me know. All right. If you have because I see it all, especially when I was driving up and down Vernon. Yeah. You see people standing on a corner. They don't have no permit.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know they don't have an insurance, And people they feel like, yo, you gotta hide it, whatever. Right. I'm trying to make it a legitimized thing. Like, yo, you can be out, and the bar is really low. I'm helping you try to get through it.
Right.
So now you can have the confidence, yo, I do have a business. Yes, I am sitting on this corner. Right. This is my corner, and I'm selling lemonade. Right. Instead of other stuff that they could be potentially selling. You know what I'm saying? Right. And we're getting it to the hands of the youth. Where's your creative? It's lemonade. Like, you can sell slime. How about that?
Right. Imagine a lemonade with flavors on this block, and then 7 blocks over, you got somebody got a lemonade flavor that's different.
Or lembes, or bracelets, or doing hair, or doing like back in the day. You used to see the shoe shine boys, right?
You're right.
But now, okay, why can't somebody? We don't do that too much anymore.
With the sneakers, now they got the sneakers. Somebody could be the guy that cleans sneakers.
Why we don't see him at City Hall? You know what I mean? So these different places where people could, you find something to bring. As we talk about the tourism that's going to be coming into the city, we talk about the stadium. Mm-hmm. This is what I was trying to get at.
Polar Park. Go ahead. Because he got another thing that I've been trying to get him to talk about, which is
even bigger. Like
it's bigger. It's bigger. It's bigger than you. It's Blue Magic.
Oh man, you know what I mean? I think I put some in here this morning. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to my friend. Thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? But so I took the initial proposal for the for the project for that grant.
Okay.
And I was contacted by the city about an opportunity that was coming up. And the opportunity was to be the operator of Rockland Trust Plaza, which is a piece of property outside of the stadium on Green Street, Polar Park, Woo Sox, all of that, okay? So I modified my initial proposal and then submitted it for this. And, I was selected to be the winner of this, for this opportunity. So for the next 3 years, first year for sure, and then renewable 2 to 3 years. We have a contract as a lessee of this property, where we will be hosting events. Okay,
this is where I want you to jump in. All of you people online in the audience, this is where you jump in and say, "How can I get involved?"
Okay, vendors. We're looking for vendors, performers. We're curating a market. Okay, so 4 days a week we'll be out there with the market. There will be 20 vendor spots available. 20 vendor spots that over time we'll curate to see who stays, who comes, who goes, who lasts. But starting in March, it was what was slated for next year. Throughout this time, we're looking to curate a nice, healthy list of street vendors and street performers, and I want you to think outside the box. Okay, don't think that what you have is too
abstract.
You know what I mean?
It might be too much.
No, make it make sense. I'm not gonna tell you I'm gonna pass everything. If you come down I'm telling you right now.
Don't come with no foolishness.
Make it make sense. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of your family and what you represent. And when you come out and you see people coming up from the highway, from off of 290, who are going over to Polar Park, they might want to see something. They might want to buy or experience something. You got 3 months.
Right.
You got 3 months to get it together. Prepare your gift to share is what I'm trying to get at.
There you go.
Whatever your gift, whatever your talent is, whatever God has given to you, I want you to continue to work on that. You got 3 months to practice. Shed. As a musician, I shed on drums Friday nights.
Yeah.
At Second Baptist.
Hammond Street.
14 Hammond Street. We're hosting a Joy Night. Joy Night, as from my experience of being a musician from the South. And I guess maybe it's not as a common experience as I thought.
Well, you got to remember, the people that are here that came up from the South may have came here, and their descendants are.
Okay.
And then the others are passing away.
Okay, right. And that's a very real thing.
You have descendants that are not staying here. They grew up here. They don't like it, and they leaving.
Right.
And then you have the older heads that are passing away, and they.
Oh man. Well, I just had a conversation about that with somebody. Like, why do we see? But anyway, get back to Joy Night for a second. So, the Joy Night, Friday nights,
7 to 9.
7 to 9. We're hosting workshops where it's just come down to the church, and we want to create opportunity for people to, for musicians, singers, choir directors, to work on their craft together, work on your skills. If you're inspired, and we're using through gospel music, through the church, and here's another thing. When we talk about
and it's food, you got soul food.
Okay,
you
got to plug Auntie them.
Yes.
Okay,
so Emma, Auntie Emma,
fried chicken Emma, fried chicken Emma. Would they be down there? She loves it. She knows it. If you making fried chicken, hey, I want y'all to try the church punch. If y'all never heard church, if you ain't never had church punch in your life,
come check out some church punch.
Church punch, you got to get I ain't gonna tell you what's in it. You got to get church punch.
You get joy out of it.
You get joy out. Oh, let's not talk about the lemon pound cake. We got a lemon pound cake.
Is that for delightful? Is that? I know who it is.
We won't say who made it. It was maybe store bought. I don't know.
Okay,
we won't shame them like that.
Okay, all right.
But they get a lemon pound cake, the church punch, and the soul food. Music upstairs, and praise too, and acknowledgement. Another thing is, I was getting ready to say, is when you look at the Italian Renaissance, you can talk about the Italian Renaissance or the classical Renaissance without talking about the Reformation of the Catholic Church.
Okay.
All right. And then when you look at the Harlem Renaissance and that period of civil rights and Reconstruction, you can't look at that period of time and not acknowledge the influence and the impact of God through the through the church.
The AME churches specifically.
You know what I'm saying?
African Methodists, those AME churches like the Belmont AME is probably that.
Mm-hmm. And you look at Malcolm, look at MLK. So it's important to include your faith in the midst of this thing too.
Yes.
That cannot be understated. Right. While I'm not necessarily making it the focal point of what we're trying to do, at the heart of it, that what I mean. So
it's your heart.
That's my heart. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm bringing. This is my contribution to the revolution. You know what I mean? Now, how y'all get in? You can get in how you get in. You know what I'm saying? I'm not necessarily trying to box people out, but this is just who I am. I can't help but be me at the front of it.
Amen.
So as I am who I am at the front of it, I'm trying to create space and opportunity for others too.
That's what I mean. Tell them how to get in touch with you, man.
Fam Jam Event Group at gmail.com.
A website,
website,
Facebook, something.
Facebook, you can
Social
find us on
media.
Fam Jam Event Group. Yeah, on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Instagram is Fam Jam EVTGRP.
Okay.
EVTGRP. On TikTok, same thing. But best email, best Facebook in the moment. Until we get some of y'all young folks who can work my social media. Okay, we need you. This is much bigger than I am. Okay, there's so many things I can do. There's so many things I can't do, and this is where your opportunity to jump in here. Okay, you have a gift. You have a talent. We need you. The community is calling on you. There's a reason why you have that thing burning in your mind and in your heart. Do something with it. Hit me up. Hit me up. Now again, I'm not co-signing everything. I'm not going.
Right, but you just got to know, come authentic,
come
prepared to do professional work. Mm-hmm. Nobody's dealing with any of your mess. Don't bring your mess over here. You know what I mean? That's exactly what it is. If you everybody over here on this side of the camera is doing the work.
Yes.
If you cats on the other side of the camera want to get with cats on this side of the camera doing work, you hit Jeff up.
Not about the drama. We ain't going back and forth.
Trying to hear that.
No. I'm here for the action.
Right.
Action.
Positive action.
Out of love. You know what I'm saying? Love in action. That's what we're trying to get.
That's
you know
what
I mean?
It is, man.
And it's not about perfection. It's just the can you do it?
Right.
Will you be consistent? Will you show up? And that's when you get results.
That's what's up. Yo, we consistently gonna have Jeff back here to talk to you guys about what's going on. And we want to thank you guys for knowing that we got things going on and y'all tuning in to be a part of it, man. Yes. So we thank you guys for this night and this evenings, these mornings, these afternoons, wherever y'all at this time. We want to thank you guys for being a part of it, man. And Jeff already told you how to get in touch with him, so make sure you do that. Reach out. Yes. It's an opportunity to be a part of a love motion, man. This is an experience that is going to be something that will gravitate to heights we don't even know yet.
We don't even know yet. I mean, I can give you another plug real quick. So one of my inspirations of this, another one, because it's a lot that's involved. It's not like I was explaining to my VP earlier. It's not about a fad. It's not a gimmick. I'm really not trying to sell you something. I'm trying to give you. I'm telling you, give you an opportunity to do you for real. Just hit me up.
Yeah, man, hit him up, man.
Hit me up.
It was a good night, man. We out of here, man. Maybe see you in